All right, this is my 3-month update after my IV stem cell therapy and stem cell injections at the Healthy Life Longevity Clinic in Bangkok, which cost me $18,000. So I'm going to give you my verdict on what worked and what didn't work. So why did I do stem cell therapy? Well, I mean, as an integrative medicine physician, I've always been interested in regenerative medicine, more natural ways to help heal the body. And I was actually one of the first physicians on Guam to implement PRP, or platelet-rich plasma, over 10 years ago. And I want to see what the next level up with stem cell and how that could help patients. So I want to explore stem cell to see if that can help me, as well as maybe it could help other patients and be able to vouch for that. But there are some specific goals I had in mind when I was trying to do stem cell. So in terms of the IV treatments, I was trying to improve some of my renal function labs, my metabolic profile, like my hemoglobin A1C, diabetes number, my lipid profile, and my overall lab work. I wanted to improve my cardiorespiratory fitness because I was gassing out quite often over the last 5 years since getting COVID, so I wanted to improve that. I also wanted to get some overall improved energy levels. So I'd kind of have some malaise or mellow out towards the end of the day, so I wanted to have more energy after the 5 p.m., 6 p.m. mark, so I could still play with my kids or do extra work if I needed to. In terms of the stem cell therapy for my shoulder, I wanted to see if that would accelerate the healing process of my torn rotator cuff, as well as improve my pain and range of motion of the shoulder. In terms of the IV treatment in response to my cardiorespiratory fitness, my basically cardio fitness went down the drain after I COVID about 5 years ago, and just doing sprints, playing basketball, tennis, even just warming up was just really difficult. I'd be gassing out fairly quickly, and there's a big noticeable difference. And I quite never recovered. I used supplements and it got maybe a 10 to 15% improvement, but not quite where I was 5, 6 years ago. But after the stem cells, maybe about 2-month mark, 3-month mark, I did notice that I had better endurance between my workouts, faster recovery between sets. I did some sprints not too long ago and was able to push through them, pretty quickly and recovered very, very well. Even completed a 5K just recently without an issue. So it wasn't the best time, but that's the best I've done, and I can't even think how long. But I still got to train and I got to work to improve that still. And overall energy levels, I noticed that after work I'd have that slump, but I just had that energy. I could do more work after work, as well as have more energy to play with the kids. So I was happy about that. What didn't help was that my metabolic profile did not improve that much, or didn't really improve at all. My renal function pretty much the same. My A1C, my lipid profile was the same. So not a big deal, and I can change those things with other parameters, but that didn't change too much. In terms of stem cell injections for my left shoulder and my rotator cuff tear, around the 6 to 8 week mark, I was still having pain. So I also asked for the help of Dr. Nickdal to help me out. My theory, where I still had some pain, was I've been in so much pain for 4 or 5 months that I think I was guarding my shoulder, and I was just afraid to really move my shoulder, and it pretty much seized up or froze up. So when I met with Dr. Nickdal, he found some vestibular-ocular reflex deficits. So it's not just about the shoulder. A lot of the neural pathways do affect your range of motion and how your tendons respond proprioceptively, or how they respond in range of motion in real time. So he was able to maybe, I guess, in a way, free up those pathways and unblock some of those pathways through certain exercises. So I think that did help to a certain degree, and my range of motion is much better. I have a lot less pain, because before, just going to reach for the seatbelt or even putting on a shirt or taking off a shirt was still painful. But at the 3-month mark, really no pain at all. And just most recently, I was able to compete in tennis and won my first match, so I'm quite happy about that. So a big milestone for me to be able to compete again in tennis. So here's my final verdict. Some of these are somewhat subjective in a way. So I also got my personal trainer, Joel, to kind of input some things and see what his observations were, and that kind of followed what I was thinking as well, or noticing.
Hello, my name is Joel. I'm Dr. Nguyen's personal trainer here at Nguyen. And so far we've noticed some remarkable changes with his range of motion and strength on his left shoulder, along with his ability to recover in between sets. But this all goes hand in hand with physical therapy and proper personal training. Moving forward, the plan stays the same. We look to further improve his strength, stability, and ranges of motion on his left shoulder so that he is able to play tennis efficiently and to move well free of pain.
You know, I'm quite satisfied. I'm able to compete in tennis, and even doing the simple things you just take for granted, like putting on your shirt, putting on your seatbelt, and not being in pain for that is something great. And my message to maybe some of the people that are considering stem cell, you know, if you've exhausted all your modalities, you've seen your orthopedic surgeon, you've done surgery, physical therapy, acupuncture, all sorts of things, and it hasn't quite met your goals, I think stem cell could be a viable option, and also even combining that with all the other modalities there, because I will be still training. I'm going to have physical therapy to help my shoulder and strengthen that too, so you probably need a team for this venture, but you know, overall I'm happy so far, and I would probably do it again. Obviously, I don't have that kind of cash to just keep doing it every month, but I think down the road, this is something I'd rather consider as a longevity standpoint. Maybe every 1 to 2 years, I might do IV stem cells, or just as a preventative thing, I might do some joints, you know, here and there. So that's my final verdict.